Okay, I just want to give you a quick rundown of my installation so far. I have a Pioneer 4200 NEX that I'm going to be installing in my 2007 Saturn Sky, and I already took the old head unit out. And I just kind of want to give you a quick look of the wiring harness and what it looks like with it out of there. As far as taking the dash apart, there's a couple places. Actually, I bought my unit from Crutchfield. It kind of gave me a let's see, where is it here? It kind of gave me the directions on taking the dash apart, this master sheet. But I also found another one online as well. So it's basically just a bunch of 7mm screws, that you take out, and a couple of clips here and there. But the actual destruction of the dash on the bottom was actually fairly easy. But real quick, I want to show you the wiring harness that I got. And actually, I got it, like I said, from Crutchfield. It's the LC GMRC LAN 03. It includes the chime, so apparently it's supposed to keep all of the factory chimes and the OnStar and everything on there as well. And then I also have these little connectors for the wiring harness, and they were also from Crutchfield. Obviously the box is empty, but it's pretty simple as far as attaching the wires is concerned, with these little plastic things. Now, I am eventually going to tape the wires together to make it a little more professional install, so they're not just wires hanging around willy-nilly. It also included this little module here for the chimes. But anyway, one thing I wanted to show you, actually a couple things I want to show you. The purple wire coming from the Pioneer's wiring hookup is going to be for the reverse camera. So what I did, actually this green wire was excess for the parking brake. So what I did is I cut that off because I actually have the little adapter here for removing the parking brake being necessarily on, or having to have the parking brake on to make any kind of changes or do anything with the head unit. So I kind of cut the excess parking brake wire off, and I'm using that, and it's going to run through, as you can see that little hole there. It's going to run through the dash, come around over the passenger side, and then I'm going to pull off this little panel here, and inside there is a light green wire as well, which is the reverse light for the car. So I'm just going to tap into that, and then what that's going to do is send a signal to the head unit saying that you turn on the reverse camera because he has it in reverse. The other wire that came with the backup camera is this one here. It's kind of nice because it's a little quick disconnect, and then you come over here. Let's see if I can find it. We have the yellow plug-in for the camera, and then it also had the red and white wires here somewhere for the power and the negative. And I basically just attached those to the power and the negative for the coming from the head unit's wiring harness there. So, and again, I ran that through the same area, and it's going to come around, and I'm basically going to run it underneath the passenger area, underneath the side kick here, and then up to the back and into the license plate. It's a license plate rear view camera. So, but the main thing, like I said, I wanted to do is show you the wiring harness. Actually, the wiring harness, I thought it was going to be more difficult. It's the first one I really did full blown like this, and you basically just match up the color of the wires from the Pioneer's piece to the other one, the wiring harness, that LAN 3. You just match up the colors, and you're good to go. There was two wires, a mute, and then there was an orange one that I didn't need to use. And actually, I called Crutchfield just to make sure, and they said that was right. So anyway, like I said, I just want to give you a quick rundown on how that is. The other thing I'm going to run through here as well is the microphone for the Bluetooth for making phone calls or whatever. And I'm going to probably run it through that same hole, and then somehow come around and probably up the A-pillar and around the top, but I'm not exactly sure where I'm going to mount that yet. If I'm going to mount it up on the visor or somewhere near the mirror or whatever. I'm probably going to check out some videos online and see where people mounted theirs, just to get some ideas. But as you can see, it's pretty easy. Once the dash is apart, it's pretty easy. You can pretty much get back on there behind the dash pretty pretty nicely with the wiring. So anyway, that's it. So what I'm going to do is I'll see what I can do in the next video. I'm going to go ahead and hook up the head unit, plug it in, make sure it all works before I put everything back together. Okay, so I got the unit plugged in temporarily, obviously, and I hooked up the antenna, and it's working. Turn it up here. Okay. And I already actually went through and checked all the speakers, the balance and the fade, everything's working good there. And even the, oops, if I go back to home, the AV, just for now, I don't have hooked up to the backup camera as far as being in reverse, but if I look at the camera view, and here it is. Here's actually my backup camera. I got the little plastic still in there to protect it. But you can see that it actually does work. And it looks good. So now all I got to do is just kind of wire that in to the back, put the whole unit back together, and I am good to go, hopefully. So electrical's all done as far as working. Just got to, like I said, just plug in the reverse or tap in the reverse wire to the reverse light and hook it all up, put it all back together. I will show you the completed, hopefully on the next video. Okay, so I took the door seal off, which is this bottom part on the passenger side, and actually it was really simple. You just pull it right up. It's only held on by a couple of easy clips there. And then I exposed a little bit of the wiring, and I was told that this light green wire is the reverse light wire. So what I'm going to do is, this is what I have tapped into my Pioneer as the reverse indicator wire. It's on the purple wire on the head unit. So I'm going to tap that into the light green one here. Hook up the head unit again. I got it all disconnected now on the negative terminals off the battery. But for now, I'm going to hook that in, hook it all back up again, and make sure when I put it in reverse, the reverse light actually does come on. Okay, I had a little bit of a hiccup, but I got the reverse wire working when I put it in reverse now. And the problem was, I know it was the light green wire. This right here was a light green wire. Unfortunately, there was another light green wire. So I was trying to get onto this one, to this one, connected to that one. This green wire was actually buried beneath all the other ones, and I couldn't see it until I kept running into problems with this one. So now I use this little hook up here, and the wire runs all the way over. I might actually figure out a better way to connect that rather than that big thing there. But now if I go over and I get down, so here's our setting. Oh wait, for some reason it goes back into there. I'll have to figure that out. It might be a setting or something. But anyway, here it is with the home screen. Put it in reverse. Boom, reverse pops up even though it's sitting in my chair. It's right here. And then I go back to normal, and boom, it's gone. So there's probably a setting, which is why, maybe it's because the AV, you know what, actually let me look. I know in the one camera settings, and this might be it, I have camera view on. Let me change that to off and see what happens. Put it in reverse. There we go. Back into, actually it's in neutral now. And it's just sitting here. So that is working. So now all I gotta do is run the wire from my backup camera. Here it is right here. My backup camera license plate holder to the back. So I'm gonna go ahead and probably tackle that in a little bit and show you how it works. Okay. A couple things I've done before I installed the head unit back in is I taped down some of the wiring. Actually, this is a plug that plugs into the head unit, and I kind of taped those together to keep them from flying around. I still have all of these connections here, but then I also taped together these wires with the chimes bus and actually the actual wiring harness to begin with. Now this is the giant chimes thing. This is actually the audio to make the noise and stuff like that for your chimes. I'm probably gonna, I don't know if I'm gonna mount that in the back up here or on the bottom, kind of hard to see, or on the bottom, or if I'm going to kind of put it through here and somehow mount it back there. I'm going to try to get it from, one, you can still hear it, but two, it's not banging around. I don't want a giant rattle going on with that. The other thing that I did too is I actually have the USB cable, this here, that's going to be plugged into the back of the head unit. I kind of fed that through and coming out the left hand side, so it's actually going to be underneath the steering wheel. Here it is here, and that's what I'm going to be plugging my Android phone into. But so I'm going to somehow get some kind of a mounting unit, somehow mount it so that it's easy to plug in as well. And then the last thing I did so far was take the microphone. Here's the part that's going to be put into the head unit as well. A Bluetooth microphone, and I took it off to the right hand side, similar to the backup camera light. The backup camera wire, and I'm going through the glove box. Not sure exactly where I'm going to mount that. Probably up top somewhere, but I just wanted to get it in there and then have it available once I decide where I'm going to put that. So anyway, I'm going to go try to wrap some of this stuff up and put the head unit in. Okay, I am probably about, I'd say 80% done with the installation. I got the head unit in, you can see here, and I gotta tell you, it wasn't the easiest thing to get all those wires back there. There's a lot of wires, and I was eventually able to kind of push them all through those holes in the back. But it wasn't easy, but it got done. And the only thing I have left to do now, I already put the light on. I already got this panel all back together again, so this panel is good. Got the top panel all done, but this is still apart. So I still got to do the backup camera wire. I mean, everything's hooked up. I just got to run it to the back of the of my Sky and connect the license plate and go through the trunk and all that fun stuff. I'm going to do that tomorrow. But in the meantime, I'm going to show you real quick. There's my keys. I'm going to turn it on. You'll still be able to hear the chimes, even though they're kind of jammed back there. Getting it started up. And I haven't messed with any of the settings yet, but the big thing I wanted to show you, first of all, the time it takes for it to boot up, which isn't too bad. Hit OK. The radio's off, but let me go ahead. I'm going to put it in the reverse, and you'll see, boom, there's the camera. Even though I have it sitting on my side over here. Here's the camera here, even though it's sitting on the seat. There it is. Take it back out of reverse, and we're back to the regular radio again. So that is working fine. The key, if you guys are going to try to do that, is there's about 3 or 4 green wires over on the passenger side, and there's a thinner green wire, light green wire, and there's a thicker light green wire. The thicker light green wire is the one you want to hook into. I actually hooked into the wrong one first. I was trying to figure out what the heck was going on, and then that's when I saw, because it was buried deep within all the other wires, the other light green wire. So anyway, like I said, I'm about 80% done. Tomorrow I'm going to hopefully wrap up and get the backup camera in and start cruising. Okay, I have my backup camera connected. Well, actually not connected, but I got the wire running to the back. I'll show you real quick how I did that. It's coming from the back of the dash, and it's underneath the sill, piece of plastic here. And then I actually took off the panel back here that has a speaker and everything. In fact, there's a speaker wire. I was able to pull the main waterfall plastic piece out a little bit, and after I did that, it kind of opened up a little gap. Of course, we got a lot of noise going on with the motorcycle gap, of course. Anyway, I was able to pull this panel out, ran the wire behind the waterfall panel, and it actually comes out back here. Let's see, where do I have it coming out? Oh, here it is. I actually have it coming around, coming down there. It's going behind all of the linkage there, and I have it going behind the insulation as well. Kind of ran it all the way over, and actually there's a little tip thing here you have to unscrew. Then there's a bolt. Unscrew that, and you can take this insulation off, or the carpet thing here. And then let me pull this up. I basically ran it all the way around behind everything, And here it is, it's coming out. This is the wire from the front. You can kind of see it's behind here, underneath everything. And now what I'm going to do is I also ran, just to show you, here's the backup camera here. It's right, oh, it's right, it's hard to see in the sun here. It's right there. And then the wire for it's actually over here. So there's a hole underneath the light, or underneath the, or on top of the license plate. You can run the wire, and I basically stuck like a coat hanger through the hole that's back there. And I fished the wire and brought the wire up. Here it is here. And this is the wire from the backup camera. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to drill a hole in this area right around here. It's kind of like the higher point of the this little trough, or whatever you want to call it. This is what collects the water when it runs down and out that hole. So what I'm going to do is kind of put a hole kind of at a high point where waters shouldn't go to. And it does have a little grommet here, so I can actually use this to seal that off. And then connect it to this piece right here. And once those are connected, we should be good to go. So I'm going to go ahead and connect everything up and take a look at it when it's done. Okay, so here I have the backup camera wire coming through from the license plate where the backup camera is. Just kind of taped it to this little bar that goes across here. It goes through that panel there. This is where I drilled the hole. There's a grommet, and then right here, actually taped the cable connection so that it doesn't get loose, and then it runs down underneath the carpeting there. So, yeah, actually, tighten up a little bit. So there we go. Here's the installation, and now I'm gonna go ahead and give it a shot. Oh, keys. And putting the ignition. Not starting it. So there it is there. It might be kind of hard to see because of the light that's behind me, but if I go ahead, put it in reverse. Oh wait, there it is. And there's my reverse up camera. Boom, backup camera is set. I know it's hard to see because of the light glare. Let me go ahead and shift it out of reverse, and it goes back to the regular radio use. Here we go again, reverse, boom, boom, there it is, out and back. So got everything all tidied back up again. The other thing I gotta do, one more loose end, there's always a loose end, is where I'm gonna put the microphone. I actually have it kind of like laying down there. I'm probably gonna be putting it up around the windshield and come across and hook it up over there. But other than that, I am about 90% done. I think it looks good, sounds amazing, and that's pretty much it.